Celia had been driving for hours, though she wasn't sure if it was hours or days. The road beneath her tires stretched endlessly, twisting in ways that should have been impossible, bending around itself as though it existed in multiple dimensions at once. Rain struck her windshield, but sometimes it fell upward, sometimes sideways, and sometimes it didn't fall at all. Every turn she took seemed to return her to the same spot, the same dark warehouse looming at the edge of a harbor that couldn't exist. She told herself she was tired, exhausted. Her brain was playing tricks, but the warehouse called to her, a pull she couldn't resist. It was black, hulking, filled with windows like eyes that blinked slowly, watching her approach. She stepped inside, and the world shifted immediately, folding in on itself, and she knew she had been here before, or maybe she always had been. The air smelled of salt and decay, but also of her childhood home, of places she had never been, of dreams she didn't remember dreaming. The floor groaned under her weight. Dust hung thickly in the air, illuminated by a light that had no source. Shadows clung to the corners, but the corners moved, drifting slowly toward her. At first, she thought she was imagining it. At first, she tried to count her breaths, to ground herself in logic. But the warehouse rejected logic. It existed in the spaces between thought, in the pauses of memory. It whispered her name, sometimes softly, sometimes in her own voice, repeating secrets she hadn't admitted even to herself. She wandered through aisles of crates stacked impossibly high, each one etched with strange scratches that seemed to shift when she looked away. Faces appeared in the shadows, familiar and unfamiliar all at once, smiling, judging, accusing. Photographs spilled from boxes, images she couldn't recognize but felt intimately connected to. Her reflection appeared in a shard of glass, younger, older, smiling, crying, laughing. It moved independently, watching her, mimicking her, mocking her. Time had no meaning. She didn't know if she had been walking for minutes or centuries. The air itself seemed to thrum with anticipation, vibrating inside her skull. Every sound she made echoed, but then returned with additions, distortions, voices layering over her own voice speaking truths she hadn't yet realized, naming every fear, every shame, every hidden desire. And then the floor shifted beneath her, folding upward into ceiling, ceiling downward into walls. Doors appeared where there had been none, leading into hallways that stretched endlessly, corridors that looped impossibly, sometimes opening back into the same room she had entered from, sometimes opening into places that should not exist. A classroom she had never taught in, a kitchen from her childhood, the harbor she had never visited. She screamed, but the scream was swallowed by the space around her. When it returned, it carried layers. Herself screaming, her reflection screaming, echoes of her past screaming, all overlapping, incomprehensible. Shapes began crawling along walls and ceiling, grotesque yet familiar, bending in ways her mind knew were impossible. She wanted to run, but her feet refused to obey. She was part of the warehouse now, and the warehouse was part of her. Mirrors appeared suddenly, lining the walls. Each reflection was different. Some were her, some were not. Some smiled at her, some wept, some reached through the glass with hands she could feel even though she could not see them. Her mind began to fracture. She questioned the very nature of her memories. Had she driven all night, or had she always been here? Had the warehouse existed before she noticed it, or had it sprung fully formed from her own fears? The whispers grew louder, overlapping until she could no longer separate herself from them. Stay, don't leave. We are you. You are us. She felt her mind splinter. Her body moved, or perhaps it did not. The warehouse moved through her, folding her perception into itself, a maze with no exit. Every memory she had, every regret, every hidden thought was cataloged, displayed, amplified. She realized then that leaving had never been an option. She had created the warehouse by fearing it, by believing in it, by noticing it. Her reflection stepped out of the glass, perfectly mimicking her except for the eyes, endless black voids that drew her in. Home, it whispered, though its mouth did not move. She reached for it, or perhaps it reached for her, and the distinction no longer mattered. She fell into darkness that was not darkness, into light that was not light, and all at once she was everywhere and nowhere. Outside, the harbor appeared calm, the fog lying thin over the water. If anyone passed by, they would see the warehouse, doors open, silent. But inside, or everywhere, Celia waited, or did not wait. She existed in the space between perception and reality, between fear and imagination, consumed entirely by the truth she could not escape. She had never left, she could never leave. And the warehouse was nothing but her own mind, infinite, inescapable, patient, whispering forever. "You're here! Always here! Stay forever!"